down the hammer and pick up the pencil. You're about to listen to the Savvy Radio Show. Learn from real-life real estate investors, experience revealed with the Savvy Landlord as your host.
All right, Savvy investors, man, I'm excited to share some knowledge with you from Eric Thomas Bootcamp. I believe it was once in a lifetime event that I went to. If you don't know about E.T. Eric Thomas, you are truly missing out. So you need to go to this website right out the gate, etinspires.com. Go to YouTube and type in Eric Thomas. Go to Facebook, Eric Thomas. That's EARICTHOMAS. He is incredible. I would say he is the top two. Anthony Robbins #1 is what they say of motivational speakers. This cat is the real deal. And it's so funny how I even got involved with Eric Thomas, because Thomas Morgan would tell me for years, hey, you need to check out this guy, Eric Thomas. And it had like some kind of a hip hop beats in the back and hip hop preacher. And I was like, man, whatever. I already got Jim Rohn. I already got Tony Robbins and Brian Tracy and, John Maxwell. I'm good. I don't need no more. But man, let me tell you something. So I broke it off. I think Thomas is such a great friend. He bought me the CD, sent it to me, and I was like, wow, off the chain. And it has really motivated me in many ways, physically, emotionally, just to go big, to do it right. And when I work out, I listen to E.T. Inspires. He has Monday mornings, or thank God it's Mondays, and he's on SoundCloud on Mondays. Anyway, enough of that. It was a once in a lifetime opportunity. Let me tell you something. Every time you think about going somewhere, like to a seminar, and you're like, man, I can't afford it. You cannot afford not to go. You got to go. You got to sell something to go. Let me tell you something. This literally changed my life. It was $1,000 for a conference. And let me tell you, $1,000. And I know some of y'all out there, that's like pennies. And some of y'all, that's like big time. And for me, it's like, ooh, I got to think about it. Now, I got to tell my wife, hey, I'm going to Michigan for the weekend, but I got to have a return on investment, because no matter what I buy, whatever I do, it's got to get an ROI. And so I didn't know who to ask to go with. A lot of people don't know about E.T. Inspires, Eric Thomas, get your hustle on. And so I, messaged Thomas. He said, I'm down so we could split the hotel, save some costs. And I'm going to tell you something, life changed. I've been down to Anthony Robbins, Date with Destiny, or whatever, all that stuff, 3-day deal, $600. This was the most amazing, intimate thing that I ever had. It was only about 100 people in the room. I couldn't believe it. This guy speaks. It costs $50,000 to see Eric Thomas. Like, that's what it costs for a promoter to bring him. He sells out arenas, and it was an intimate thing in his home place, for where he got his doctorate degree. It was the most remarkable, unique setting. His mom was there. He brought all of his friends. They spoke. He was just authentic, and I was like, man, I want to be like this guy. So I don't know how many parts. There's a lot of content here, but it was so life altering for me. I've got to share it with you. And I know for sure I got 2 parts. I wrote out the podcast, and I was like, this is too much information. This introduction right here is too long. But I just have to break it down to you. Anyway, so let me just drop these real fast and furious. First of all, life change happens when you're willing to grow. Boom. How you like me? I don't even know where that came from, but I just had to drop that today when I was writing this. I was like, life change happens when you're willing. You got to push yourself outside the comfort zone and spend the $1,000 to get on a plane. And the people that I met that afternoon, that weekend, bar none, maybe lifelong friends, just economic resources of private money was in the room. It was just, and it wasn't even real estate. There's only a few real estate folks in there. Number one, what I learned, he considered, he didn't say this coin, but I coined it as the pyramid. He's like, you got to have mind, body, and soul. like that's like your balance. So figure it out, like you got 33 and a third percent. You got to have 30% of your mind. Obviously, Jim Rohn, you got to read. You got to have 33% and a third on your body. And then you got to have reflection, your soul, and whatever you believe, meditation. But to be well-rounded, to go to the next level, this is how he broke it down. And, I kind of got it. I was like, yeah, it was a good warm-up for me. I was like, okay, 33%. And then I just did some reflection. That wasn't the life change. So I just wanted to start there, just throw that out there. He mentioned that was the first thing. And, I kind of got the grasp. Sorry about that. I burped. I got the grasp, but, it hasn't marinated on me. So I'm still thinking about it. Let me hit up number 2. Woo! Number 2. Give up good to be great. And he gave this example, and I know this from my own life. He was living large in Alabama. Life was good. He was financially secure. His wife was taken care of. His payments, everything. Life was good. Their church friends, their community, stores they shop out, the lifestyle, the crib, everything was good. But he's like, if you want to be great, you got to give up good to be great. You got to give up good to be great. You got to give up good to be great. And I was like, man, that was like a baseball bat that just smashed me. I'm good, but I want to be great. Am I too comfortable? And not necessarily on an economic standpoint, but internally, what do I want to accomplish? I want to be great. What am I willing to sacrifice? So he had to come to his wife and say, listen, we're going to move to Michigan. She's like, Michigan, we got everything we want, everything we need. We got our cars, a house, everything's living large. He's like, we got to move to Michigan. And I can't even imagine the scenario that him and his wife had to go through. But he was like, I feel called by the Lord, the Lord to go to Michigan. Some of you all are called to do something. Maybe it's real estate full time. I met a guy the other day. He's like, I really want to quit my job. I said, why not? Quit your job. It's good, right? It's good right now. But do you want to be great? Do you want to be great? And so for him to be great, he had to go outside of his comfort zone, and he wanted to pursue his doctorate degree, and he moved, packed up everything, and moved to Michigan. And I believe that Eric Thomas is great. He left good. When you're complacent and just hanging out and life is good, how can you be great? So that was number 2. Oh, I know, marinate on it. Give up the good to be great. I gotta slow and say it slow. I know this is a weird podcast. Work with me, folks. Work with me. You got to give up good to be great. Do you want to be great? Then you got to give up the good. All right, number 3. Hey, we're just getting warmed up here. This is what I experienced for 16 hours straight. Number 3, mastery. Be a master at what you want to do. No one wants no half-stepper. Think about it. Do you want to be casual as a real estate investor, casual as a dad, casual as a husband? No. Mastery. We want to be the very best. Become a master at whatever. It could be the smallest niche, whatever you want to call it. But if you want to go to be great, you got to master. And to master that, it takes 10 years, overnight sensation 10 years later. And it was just remarkable being in the room of just 100 people. And chronological, his whole career, how he started, who he met, and each person, he said this too, you're one relationship away from success of whatever, one relationship away. But the thing that I got, am I a master? I own some businesses. I started some businesses. I'm a DJ. Am I a speaker, real estate investor? I'm like, what am I a master at? What are you? Ask yourself, what am I a master at? Is this where you want to be? Is this job that you're working? Can you become the very best clerk? Can you be the very best investor, loan officer? How about realtor? How many masteries of realtors? There's only a few that have taken it to why don't you master something? Man, I'm like, mastery. If you want the big bucks, you want the success, whatever success looks like to you economically, big money. And it was just, and Eric is just straight up authentic, transparent. When they started out 10 years ago, they could barely get people to book them, to get them into a school, but they had to start with levels. They started, to elementary school, then to high schools, then to junior colleges, then to colleges, now NFL. I mean, it's stardom, corporate gigs. He gets paid $50,000, but 10 years ago, he was only making maybe $500 a gig. But now he's a master at speaking. He's a master motivator. And that's what you get. You demand bigger checks when you're a master at it. You getting some surgery done. You don't want the dude that just graduated out of school. You want the one that's performed 1,000 times. He's a master at surgery, and he demands mastery pay. Man, simple. I hope that resonates with you big time. All right. I mean, it was big time for me, and I was like, wow, I want to be a master. And so when I realized that I wanted to be the master of real estate, I mean, that's my deal. And then he gave me the confirmation through this seminar that it's going to take at least 10 years. Okay. And then it was so easy. You got to have 10,000 hours in it. A book you need to read is called Talent's Not Enough. And, Outliners and, Malcolm Gladwell, they quantify the 10,000 hours. It's just fascinating that there's data that says, hey, you want to be a master physician, you want to be a master golfer, it takes minimum 10,000 hours committed, intensely, working at it, perfecting your craft, practicing to become a master at it. And if you follow ET, and hopefully after this episode you'll follow ET, it's life or death out there. It's life or success is life or death. For real. You've got to treat this dream, this job, like it's your life depends on it. You're providing for your family. Your life depends on it. Are you being a master at what you're doing? Boom. That was number 3. All right. I got one more. And I think this one, number 4, straight up blew my mind. And I mean, and I've already started exercising it day one. And again, I want to give all credit to ET for this jazz. I mean, it's so hard for me to articulate this. So bear with me. I'm going to try to articulate this to the very best of my ability. So this is based on, he called this, and I've never heard this before, he called this the Joseph effect. Joseph in the Bible in Genesis 39. And I was like, the Joseph effect? I mean, it's kind of cool. You ever heard of the Oprah effect? Rich Dad, Poor Dad, he contributes all of his success, or the majority of his success, from him going on Oprah, and that's considered the Oprah effect. There's books on it based on the Oprah effect. Okay. So when he said Joseph effect, I was like, okay, I'm not a scholar per se on the Bible. I do read the Bible, but I don't, Joseph, kind of remember he was like a slave. And if you need to reference this in the Bible, it's Genesis 39. I was like, okay, I'll get to it. But what he was talking about, that Joseph was a slave, brothers sold him out, I believe. Now, I could be wrong on this guy, so just be patient. And he became a servant to the king Pharaoh or whoever, the ruler, Pharaoh, okay? And he was super servient to this guy. I mean, and he called him number 2. He was number 2 to Pharaoh. So he was in he's a slave. Keep this in mind, he had nothing. And then he gained everything by being a servant, unconditionally, out of control, the Pharaoh's best interest. So the Pharaoh saw this character in him and gave him the kingdom, gave him rule over everything, and he just multiplied it and make it like it was his own. Are you doing that with your day job? Are you serving people like it's your own, like top tier? I was talking to a real estate investor the other day, and it was interesting. I'm into RC cars, and I have a bunch of them, and I'm trying to sell some of them so I can get another one, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, hey, I'm going to sell you this car, 50% off what I paid for. I just want to dump it. And he's like, no, I want to go buy a new one. I was like, okay, kind of slapped me in my face. But see, I realized, I was like, okay, I get it. He's like, he had a standard. He wanted the very best. We all want the best. He didn't want my scrubs, my seconds. He wanted the best. Now me, I'm all about economics, right? Hey, a $500 item, $250, do it. I'm in. I'll even beat you up on $250, get you down to $200. But, I'm all about thrift. I grew up broke. So, I'm always trying to stretch my dollar. But, I thought about that. So think about Joseph in the Bible. He was a slave. He had nothing, but he gave above and beyond. He wanted the very best for Pharaoh. And he became number two. Number two. So where are you are you a number one CEO? You need a number two. Eric Thomas has CJ. And they just broke it down for hours. I mean, so long. I could have sat and marinated on it. And so I'm going to sum it up with this. He had it like this. What are you bringing value to people? What are you bringing to people? So Joseph brought everything for Pharaoh, took care of everything. The guy didn't have to do a dang thing, nothing. He took care of him, took care of his kingdom, made him money, watch over his assets, just everything. And so he broke it down to these three things that just broke me down. Number one, he said, what are you doing in relationships? Are you destroying them? Reflect right now on what are you doing with the relationships that you're in, that you're involved in? One, you're either destroying them. Two, you're either improving them slightly. All right. So hopefully I'm out here doing this podcast. I'm trying to improve you. Right? I'm not getting a return. So I'm trying to be a Joseph here. But then number three, he's like, boom, give people a complete upgrade. I mean, upgrade. Think about it. Upgrade people. Go above and beyond for your tenants. Jeffrey Taylor, he gives, when people move in, I'm like, I thought he was psycho. He when people move in, he's got a fruit basket sitting on that's called an upgrade. Imagine if you just upgraded everybody. You make people feel amazing. And so I was like, man, how could I upgrade one of my workers? How can I upgrade him? How can I upgrade people that come into my life? Someone that blesses me, I'm going to upgrade them. I'm going to upgrade my wife. And so then I'm back from the trip, and I was like, man, I don't really connect with my mother-in-law so much, and we're on totally different pages. Nothing negative, nothing wrong. We're just not on the same page. We don't communicate. We say hi, and and she helps us out, and we're blessed to have a mother-in-law in my life. But we don't hang, we don't talk, we don't connect. It's difficult. But I still need to upgrade that relationship. So I was like, man, she helped us watch the kids the other day. I'm going to upgrade this gal. Boop, pulled over, got a bottle of wine. What's a $10 bottle of wine? I upgraded her. And then we got the Bible study on Sundays. And so we drop off the kids in the minivan, and then she brings the kids back in the minivan. So we borrow her blinged out ride that she loves. I was like, how can we upgrade this? We went and washed her car. Let me tell y'all something right now. I never wash anybody's car. I don't even wash my own car. And that's how think of the impact. And I know she doesn't listen to my material, so I know she's never going to hear this. So I was like, man, think of the relationship. I don't know what it's going to do, but I'll tell you, you can't go wrong by upgrading somebody. You can't. You're one relationship away for what you need to be doing, the success in your life. Upgrade people. Upgrade people. I work with a title company, and there's been a lot of crazy, weird psycho deals where I'm trying to get closed and someone passed away or someone's in another country. I got to get a signature. They don't show up to closing. They disappear for days on end. We can't hear from them. I had to upgrade my closer. I sent her a helicopter. I'm into RC cars. I sent her a little cheap helicopter. Changed her every time she sees me. Now, before, my motive was, yes, I wanted to bless her, but I upgraded her. This cat just straight up hooked me up. I got burned from one of my roofers, and it was just I don't want to get into it. Maybe one day, maybe it'll be in a book. And this guy, I was showing him all my invoices of this roofer that was doing a bunch of work for me. And he's like, dude, you're getting taken. And I was like, wow, I'm thinking I'm getting a deal. And so I connected with him. And then I'm like, I got to put a roof on a crib. And I was like, and it's a partner we have a deal together on a crib. And, normally I would try to do this roof myself. And I actually just went up and straight up called this guy and said, hey man, I'm out of the loop on roofs. I used to broker out roofs. I don't do it no more. People steal bundles and, squares. I get misled at the store. Material, if I say 36 square, blah, it's really only a 30 house, but then they need over, there's it's not complicated, guys. It's just something I don't want to mess with. And he's like, I'll help you. I'll do it for you. I'll put this roof on for you. And then I'll teach you how to do it. I barely know this guy. And I was like, man, how can I upgrade this guy? How could I? And anyway, I texted him one day and I was like, hey man, I'm having this little, RC car party. It's a log story. You don't know me, but I was going to start a business called Race Day Event. And he came over and, it's easy to get back to number 3, mastery. When I started this race day, I was going to do RC cars for people. It's a long story. It's, hit me up if you really want to know about it. It's a failure in my mind. And I realized it's easy when you want to master something, when it doesn't fit in that scope. People ask me to be in direct marketing business. If it's not in real estate, I'm not in it. The race cars is a hobby. It's not a business. So it's easy to dump it, right? If it's easy when you got your why and you got your goal set and you want to be a master real estate person. Me opening up a RC car company does not fit within my mastery. So I had this party pre-planned, invited this guy to come out to this party because I was going to do this great, launch of my new business, la-da-da-da-da-da. If you see it on Facebook, you know what I'm talking about. And this dude loved the car. I said, hey man, what car do you like? And he picked out this car and I upgraded the dude just like that. And you could say exterior motives, whatever, but that's what you got to do. That's what you got to get. Number one, are you destroying relationships? That relationship that you're in, maybe be a significant other. Where is it going? Are you improving it slightly? Are you giving it a complete upgrade? I'm talking upgrade. Your girl's driving a car. You need to upgrade her. She's got a ring that, you pay $2,000 for. Get her a $3,000 ring. You need to upgrade. All right. So that's it. My name is Steven Van Kallenberg. All this material is from etinspires.com. I went to the boot camp. You need to go. This is part 1. I got part 2 coming in. I'm going to drop part 2 tomorrow. So today's Thursday, August 4th. Tomorrow, you'll get the second part of this awesome experience. Follow ET, buy his stuff, buy his books, buy his shirts, whatever. You want to be motivated. You want to go to the next level. Become a master. 1. You got to have a pyramid, 30% mind, body, and soul. 33 equals 100. You got to have a solid mind. You got to have a solid body. You got to have soul. 2, give up good to be great. You want to be great. Everybody wants to be great, but they don't want to be willing to give up the good job. You got to go on the unknown, become great. When you strive to become great, you need to be a master at becoming great in whatever it is. Become a master business owner, become a master entrepreneur, become a master real estate wholesaler. Pick that niche and dig it. And then the Joseph effect. Who's your number 2? Who can you upgrade? That person that you're working under, an assistant. You're an assistant to somebody. You're the Joseph. How when you're looking at your boss's financials, their properties, are you giving it 110? Are you going above and beyond? Are you doing Joseph? Are you making the Joseph effect? Because the return on investment is outrageous. You're destroying the relationship, 1. Number 2, you're slightly improving it. Or are you going to give a straight upgrade to your boss, to your spouse, to your children? Whatever you do, go for it. Whatever you do, whatever money, the success that you make, go buy assets and provide for other people.
Thanks for listening to the Savvy Radio Show. Glide online and listen to our other motivating episodes at SavvyRadioShow.com. Connect on Twitter at LandlordBook and always be buying assets.